Welcome everyone to the Sunday service after church tea time. For today, beautiful topic that we heard today was about joy, God's call to transcend pain and suffering. As much as I heard of the sermon, I'm really excited to share this with everyone today. Yeah, and we will share our takeaways. I have with me beautiful Nikki and Manola. Both are students of Union. I'm also a student of Union. And I think I would like to open up by sharing that what really excited me about the topic was that when Madhu opened up about how we come with the default of how our parents have made the choices and how we have the power to change that, and actually that changes the coming generation. I absolutely loved that. Yeah, and I'd like to open the floor and hear from you guys. What did you receive from today's sermon? Nikki, you want to go?
Yeah. I really loved the sermon because it's like I really love the sermons in general, and this sermon specifically was kind of like a grounding point of seeing that okay, we are doing this journey and we're taking this journey so we can live a life of joy and heaven on earth. And it's just like kind of like a reassurance sermon, a sermon of just like reminding us that we can it's like our choice to be happy and like to follow that joy, and like to also be able to see that throughout our life, whatever like we went through and whatever like our society said that maybe, oh, you have to suffer or you cannot have things without sacrificing, depending on different cultures, whatever culture background we all have, if it's like a choice to just follow God, and it's the same God. It's just like the same path in a way. And yeah, it was very beautiful. I just really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree. I guess what's coming up for me was they spoke about like the different religions, and I think Valentina touched on she would like study different religions, but it didn't fully resonate. And I also went through that. I was like, it doesn't feel like there's just one like path. It feels like it's like one God for all religions. And that's what always resonated with me when I was young, like going to church and experiencing different religions. Like, hey, this can't be the only way, like, because not everyone can be a Christian, right? So then what happens to all the non-Christians? So yeah, so when I found unionism, like that resonated with what I believed in what I had always believed, like there's like it's just about love and following joy. And yeah, what also is coming up is like how joy truly is like the way to I guess I would say like breakthroughs on your journey. Because I personally have never experienced any breakthrough like with my twin flame or with anything in my life by feeling bad about it. It's always when I feel good and joyful. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And I love how they open the sermon by saying that God desires fulfillment and joy for you and not suffering. And there is this, I guess, from the past, or the idea from the past, that even from it comes from the religions, that you need to suffer in order to receive God's like acceptance, or receive acceptance from the world. And probably there have been like examples from the past where suffering has been glorified, and there's this sense of guilt and pressure onto you that, oh, I actually do want to please God, but there's like this misplaced feeling of, that I have to suffer in order to do that. And I think I was suffering from this belief for a long time as well. And it caused a lot of pressure in my relationship with God. But, coming to unionism, and I think Madhu also mentions that through the teachings of unionism, you get to see God beyond religion, and seeing God the way God is. And God created us in his and her image, that also gives us the permission to pursue joy, to pursue our desires, and also live a life of peace and joy and fulfillment. And it's a very noble pursuit to have, to pursue joy, because anyways, once you are living in joy, you will like shine and allow others to also follow through. So yeah, and joy is addictive. So yeah, I found that really amazing. Yeah.
I love that. Joy is addictive. It's true. Yeah. It's like, I believe Jeff talks about this. I don't remember exactly what he says in the classes, but it's something like, um, if you want to be addicted to a drug, then be addicted to God. Not specifically like this, but like in a way that's the meaning. And I find that very true because it's a healthy drug in a way. So, yeah, I just wanted to share like a personal um, experience, or like from my life, how I had the contrast from outside, that from my parents, and how until like an age I felt like, oh, I must be wrong because everybody outside of me is saying that following joy is not possible, or like you have to live in duality, like there's no way that you can only have joy. And I feel like because my parents were atheists, so they didn't like believe in God. They came from like a communist era, so they lived through communism from Russia in a way. And they had like this mindset of control and fear, and they lived off of that. So they couldn't like, they felt or they believed that they weren't allowed to feel and to think freely. So it was very oppressing in a way. So like even though I was born and raised after this era, and I was blessed to be born in another country in Italy, and I lived there with going to church by myself as a child every Sunday, I still had that in my home. So like that consciousness was still there. And until like a point in my life, I felt like, yeah, I felt confused because I was like, how are these people that are following God in a way, or religion, are feeling like lighter than the consciousness inside of my family in a way? But at the same time, I couldn't fully comprehend the what who God was, because it didn't feel personal to me. It was like kind of like a set of structure that you had to follow and you couldn't question, and it's like very strict. And I didn't like really resonate even as a child, even though like it felt good because it had like a community side of of the place that I lived, in the place that I lived. Once like we moved back here in Albania, then like I completely like felt only the part that I had at home, and it got very, not, I wouldn't say dark, but a bit like more contrast, and that really awakened me in a way. And like that makes sense why I, from there, as a teenager, I started like to search for religions and look into all kinds of religions. I was very curious, as Madhu also like was sharing about him. I literally like went into Buddhism and like learning about that, but still didn't resonate because then I had to kind of detach myself from the world, and that didn't feel right to me. Then I got stuck in a way, like I got very interested in witchcraft, like paganism in a way, not witchcraft, also witchcraft, but mostly like paganism. And um, I resonated with Valentina as well about like cleansing the house with sage and like using salt to protect the house from evil entities and stuff like that. But still, even like in paganism, there is like a place where you have fear. So you have to protect yourself from something. And that still didn't sit right with me because I was like, that still means that there's duality. I like, even though I got closer to the universe, God, from that, I still wasn't like finding that that I found with unionism. And then like when I found Jeff and Shaleia and I was listening to what they were teaching, I was like, okay, this makes sense. I'm complete here. I feel good. But yeah, just wanted to share like a journey.
That's beautiful. Yeah. I remember like Madhu mentioning about how he felt that the choices that his parents have made is not the choices that he wants to live by, and like felt that heaviness. And that's what you were talking about, your experience as well, like felt that heaviness and misery, like what's wrong, and that's something I don't choose. And probably in our hearts, that's what guided us to unionism, and gave that, probably we call Jeff and Chilia on earth from our soul, to show us the path of twin flame harmonious union as our path to God. And yeah, when I feel this, that I feel my biggest wish is being granted. Like I felt that secret way that I loved God has been revealed, and I found even the community that secretly loves God the way I love God. And yeah, this is really, really beautiful and lucky. We're lucky to well, actually not lucky, we loved to find this path and this way of pursuing God and being with God. It's really, really fulfilling and joyous. Yeah. And I'm really thankful that we can make this choice and this shift to bring joy and fulfillment over on top of, like, and letting go of the choices of misery. And we don't have to make those choices anymore.
Yeah, thank y'all for sharing that. Yeah, I just love this topic about joy because, talking about joy, like brings more joy into your life because that's what you're focusing on. So, I felt like more joy enter my heart as we continue to talk about this topic, which is nice. And yeah, something that resonated with me, about what Madhu said about, like you kind of have to work through your parents' choices and like the cultural part of it. And something that I learned, by coming into unionism was like what true joy is versus like not true joy. Joy is like peaceful and light and blissful and stuff. And yeah, just I guess coming from a culture where like they do value joy, but they don't really understand like what true joy is. They just like to, have fun and party all the time. But like at the same time, it's like, joy also comes from like grounded peace and like having your life together. So that's something that I learned. Like true joy is peaceful and yeah, it's just fun. It's not anything about numbing out or none of that. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's something I'm like awakening to, and also like pursuing that as your path of awakening and not numbing out and allowing yourself, the more sensitivities you develop. That's what I have felt over the years, that practicing mirror exercise, I find myself awakening to more and being more sensitive. That allows me to harness and have more joy. Like I've somehow started feeling that even the same movies that I used to watch before, now that I watch them, I feel a different sense of peace and joy and deeper depth of emotions by pursuing and practicing unionism. So, yeah, I feel closer to God this way. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that part that you just said. That like as you practice the teachings of union, like your life feels like you can feel more deeply. Because I grew up like in Christianity, and I would always go to church, but I was like, wow, this is so boring. Like this, I do not like this at all. It's just not a good time at all. But now when I read, or I would read the Bible and I'm like, oh my God, this is terrible. But now that I've studied the teachings of union, I can read the Bible and I'm like, wow, this is like amazing. Like it really like resonates with me. So that's like a huge difference that I've felt as I've practiced the teachings of union. Like it's like it all makes sense. So I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, I love everything that you guys said. It's very true. Like when you follow God, like you have, it doesn't mean that you have to stay high. It's like this peaceful, grounded joy. Like it's a joy that stays and it doesn't like crash you after some time. I've learned this as well lately because I had like this pattern that I've worked through with my twin flame as well for a long time. But we used to go through highs and then lows and then highs and then lows. And once like we found the balance, it did feel like we could feel our relationship, our union deeply, more deeply, and just like enjoy things from feeling peaceful. And I feel like it's very tied with what Madhu said, the quote that also Dennis said in the end about God created you to be entertained in your life. And it's like it just gives you like that reassurance that God created you and God knows what your path is and what you need, what makes you happy, what makes you feel fulfilled, what your purpose is and everything. And it's like life is like meant to be like a journey and you are given step by step through your feelings, through your joy, the next steps. And it's always like that. And it's like a play. It's like a playing as a kid in a way. And like you feel inside your heart like God just saying to you, hey, this feels good to you, go do that. Or actually you don't want that, go here. And it's like kind of like a not hide and seek, but it's I don't know, like a video game in my head. It's like a video game that you have to follow, and it's just eternal. And it's fun. It's not boring, and that's what I feel like I've taken from the sermon. It's like life is peaceful and it's joyful at the same time when you follow God. It's not plain and boring and like you have to heal all the time, feel bad all the time. It's like, of course, you have to heal all the time, but not feel bad all the time. You can enjoy life at the same time.
Yeah. I just felt I wanted to add to that what you said, Nikki, about God, desiring joy for you. I always see it as God wants to surprise you. So it's like, okay, now you can have this. Do you like this? Okay, now I have a big one. You know, it's always like God has that bigger teddy bear, and He gives you the smaller one too, because He's the one who gave you the smaller one, and then you get the big teddy also. So yeah, I find that when I follow my intuition, I don't normally or always get the whole picture, but it's always leading to like bigger happiness and bigger joy now because following that it has become a practice. I'm excited, and I kind of feel into the joy of God gifting that to me, and always like anticipate, like I know you have a gift for me, so I'm following this now. So yeah, it's really like, yeah, it's like a movie, like, you know, you said about video game, it's like that. And yeah, and there's nothing serious about it. This is lately that I'm learning. I found this feelings of seriousness come up, and I think I have been serious for most of my life until now. And I was feeling into that the seriousness also comes from the desire to pursue God, and the way it had been portrayed from before, that you need to be serious. But it's not about being serious, it is about being sincere. So kind of made that small correction, and I felt like, wow, okay, that feels more alive, and I feel like I can welcome God's wisdom more in being sincere, and knowing that I'm sincere and always pursuing God, and I don't need to be serious about that. Yeah, yeah.
I love that. That resonates with me as well, because I feel like I've taken this journey for a long time, very seriously, but in a serious way of like, I have to do this now, and then I have to write down the mirror exercise, and then I have to heal, and then I have to go into my feelings where I feel bad all the time. And it's like, it's kind of, that's not the point. That's what I got, you know, what she said as well. As a conclusion, it's like you follow God, and it's like a sincere relationship that we have with Him. It's not like, oh, you do this, and then you have the result. Like, it's never about the result, it's about the feeling. And the result will come. That's what she said as well, like the surprises. And I totally agree with that, because I've had like a recent example of that as well. That me and Andy like were going through something kind of like a stuck feeling of, oh, we will not make it to the event, and we were feeling bad. And like our coach was just saying us, okay, claim it, trust God, claim it, trust God. We healed through what came up, and then like just things were moving like this. And I was like, wow. And I didn't think of the ways that things would like fit. It's just like the faith and just like surrender. That's like when things shifted, like when I surrendered to God. I like just followed the joy. I was like, you know what? Like if I'm meant to go, I will go. If I'm not meant to go, and now I'm meant to like, I don't know, build my foundation more, I need to focus somewhere else, and it's okay. Um, then I will not go. And I'm okay with both because I trust God. And like at that moment, God was like, you know what? You're going. I was like,
How nice.
okay. Okay. And just like things just moved like blocks, just like I don't know how. It's just like God, you know, I know how. But yeah, like it was very joyful. Yeah. And just like the example that you just shared. So I really resonate with that.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, something that I'm shifting on my journey is um like what we're talking about, like more joy versus being in a state of like suffering all the time, or like a lot of upset or upheaval, you know. So that's been shifting a lot of things on my journey, which is nice. Yeah, just like feeling good, like God asks us to feel good, you know, He doesn't ask us to suffer, just ask us to like let go of the suffering. But, you know, I feel like sometimes we can make it a little more hard on ourselves instead of just, you know, doing like what Jeff and Shaleia tell us, like, hey, just heal and just be happy, you know, you don't have to try to control everything. So yeah, it's really just us, I feel, kind of putting us through more turmoil than we need to be in. So yeah, I feel like I'm letting that go on my journey, which is nice. And yeah, that's what I had to say.
Yeah. And yeah, I've also experienced that recently, where God was inviting me. I actually wanted to celebrate my 40th birthday, and I always had this feeling that I wanted to see my birthplace. And because my father was in the army and we had to move a lot, so I always was curious about my birthplace, and I was like, I think I want to give that gift to me. And I've never, like, all this time, I never had this strength, I guess, to give myself such a big gift, to travel and, to see some place that I had never explored before. I've never heard anyone explore before. So I felt that intuition and I followed that. And what followed that was very beautiful, because when I shared this with everyone, my friends in Unionists, and they were like, "Oh, okay, so you're coming to this city?" And I said, "Yes, that's to celebrate my birthday." And they said, "Okay, we'll come and meet you." So it turned out to be a big, like, a meeting, and we had big meetup, and about 20-22 people came to enjoy that. And I felt like God just gave that surprise, because somewhere I also felt that universe was testing me and gifting me, because I gifted myself as well. So it was like double yeah, gift, that because I followed that intuition and joy in my heart, yeah, I was met with more joy. Yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess what I have to say is like, yeah, like a big lesson that I've been integrating a lot is like it's meant to be easy. It's not meant to be so like ridiculously challenging. Like it's meant to be easy and yeah. And yeah, joy is a very nice magnetic feeling. And definitely like I guess like life purpose. Well, not I guess, like life purpose definitely does bring a lot of joy into your life. So yeah, like that can like what you were saying earlier, Nikki, about it being like joy can be like addictive or like God can be like addictive. That's the same thing like with your life purpose and joy. It becomes like addictive, I feel, once you start doing it more and more because it feels really good. So mhm.
Yeah, I feel that too, absolutely. Your life purpose kind of brings you alive. That's what I feel like. Life purpose is like puts life in you, and makes you want to live your life here on earth. Because a lot of times I would have this question that, why am I here? I don't want to be here. Like, then why am I here? So I would have that question. And now I'm like, I know why I'm here, and I love being here. And that's what brings me joy. And it's the pursuit of joy that, brings life. And um, it actually took me towards my life purpose. I also feel like that. And it's also giving a confirmation of, yeah, this is your life purpose. And yeah, it's a green signal from God when you are receiving joy from your life purpose. It's like, yeah, I am walking this path, and it is right for me, and it is resonating with my soul and I feel like I'm the more alive I come, it's like the more I flower. It is a confirmation that, yeah, this is what I want to pursue even more. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say also like I feel like your life purpose brings so much joy into your life because it's like God's gift to you as well, you know? Like
Mm.
you're like, "Oh, this is God gifting me wow, this is amazing. Thank you, God, you know. So following that is, yeah, it's like God's gift to you too. You're like, it's just nice. Like you were saying, it brings you to life. And you're like, wow, I feel so alive. Like this is what I was meant to do. And I also resonate with that being like, why am I here on earth? Like I don't like it here. Like this is not for me. But then you realize, okay, I have a purpose here and I have to fulfill it. So, and when you really embody that, it feels really good. So, yeah.
Mm. I always had this sense that, oh my God, I get bored easily. And I know this about myself since childhood. Like I would change games or I would, do different things and maybe different group of friends. It was always like that. And when pursuing my life purpose, I always had the back of my mind. I'm like, I might, upset God because I'll get bored after some time. I had this in the back of my mind. But it's the opposite because God knows me. God knows who I am and God knows how I am. And always God would present new ideas so that even within my life purpose, I'm always birthing something new, bringing something new, and, co creating with God. So it doesn't even feel like I'm doing the same thing. Each day I'm doing something new and it's renewing. So, yeah, it's beautiful.
I love that. That's very true. Because it's like a fire that you keep, it just like keeps getting bigger in your heart and it just doesn't go. Like other interests that we may have that can be like hobbies and can be like temporary, like your life purpose is like a constant journey of expansion in a way. And that's very beautiful. Yeah. Like for me personally, like my life purpose would be to help twin flames come together in harmonious union, like through being a coach. And I will soon, I'm manifesting like the finances to go through it. And if God grants it, I will go through it soon. um, but that was like my passion always. Like I've seen that from a young age. I would be like, oh, okay, what do I like? Like I didn't find joy in subjects in school besides music a bit, but it was like a hobby more than really my life purpose. It's like an interest. And then like I would see myself with being like with a lot of friends just trying to help them and like be very compassionate and like I would see signs of kind of being a coach in a way, like wanting to be that. And even though like some people like didn't want my help, but it was just more stronger than me because I didn't also have like the proper boundaries. And like, of course, if somebody doesn't ask you, like, how can you help somebody that is not open to receive like help in a way? And yeah, like now I will just go through it properly so that it's also like something that I can have forever in a way. So yeah, and like be master to do it appropriately as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I also like resonate with that. Being a coach is very, very rewarding. And I didn't realize it, to be honest. I didn't. So thankful to this path and also having the opportunity to serve God in this way. It blows my mind because not something that I had can imagine or could imagine. Um, Maybe I had because I took engineering and I had these desires to create with God, like products and things, and things that don't exist. And but I also feel like engineering taught me how to reprogram or recreate, and that's something I'm doing with minds, like with coaching as well. Like it's joyous to it's such a joy to see people transform in front of you, like when they come. And I see that about myself too. Like when I started, it was like how I was so dull and dim, and now how I have become through the teachings of union. And I see that people transform, like, from a bud to a flower, how they go through coaching, and it gives so much joy. Yeah, it's undeniable and so beautiful. And it's something that I never stop doing. It's like that. Yeah. Yeah, I can go through lifetimes doing this. It's like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I love what you shared. I'm also in the process of like trying to manifest the money to go through the coaching program. So that's also a part of my life purpose. I'm like, okay, God, you're gonna provide here, you know. I'm not like in a rush or anything, but I'm like, I know that's where I'm headed. So I'm like, okay, so hopefully soon, but we'll see what happens. So.
Beautiful. Yeah. I feel kind of complete. How are you guys feeling? Did you want to share anything before we close?
Yeah, I feel complete as well. Just like I wanted to say, um, also like from what Manuela said before, that sometimes we make it very hard on ourselves, and like it's us trying to control or lacking faith, um, being impatient, and it's okay, like it's a process. And in those moments, we can just like remember that God wants us to be joyful and it's not meant to feel bad. So if we're feeling bad, then there's something that we're not doing correctly in a way. And we can just like take a step back, reevaluate our feelings, and just move through that and let go and have faith and just come down. Yeah. That's what I've seen works for me because I have this pattern a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to second that. I started putting boundaries on myself into, sinking into back into misery, or, having that. So the permission to put boundaries on that also comes from the teachings, and um, that's been very, very, like, it's been light on my heart. I don't need to carry the burden of being serious and going back into misery. Yeah. Yeah, I feel that we are complete here. So thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Manuela, for coming and sharing this beautiful sermon with everyone. We encourage you to like, share, and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. And also, we will continue to see you in the upcoming sermons. Thank you. Bye.